Noah Scurry was born and raised in Feltonville, a poor neighborhood in North Philadelphia, a place where gunfire, abandoned houses, and the constant presence of violence had become almost a normal part of daily life. Noah's family, like many others in the area, had to deal with poverty, insecurity, and the constant fear for safety. Yet, in the middle of all that, Noah grew up as a bright spot. An honor student with a perfect grade point average of 4.0, the highest SAT score at Samuel Fels High School, and also the star of the varsity basketball team, where he caught the eyes of college scouts. Unlike many teenagers in the neighborhood, Noah always stayed away from illegal activities and the traps of street life. Teachers and parents often pointed to him as a role model because of his quiet personality, his respect for adults, and his complete focus on academics and sports. To his peers, Noah was the safe friend, the one who showed up in decent places instead of being pulled into violent hangouts. In the school community's eyes, he was a good kid, hard-working, and someone who promised to break out of the cycle of Feltonville and move toward a brighter future. But the reality outside was completely different. Philadelphia in the early 2020s suffered a record-breaking wave of gun violence. In the years 2021 and 2022, the city recorded more than 500 homicides each year. A horrifying number, with most victims under the age of 20. In Feltonville, hearing gunshots at night or seeing small memorials with candles, flowers, and pictures of the dead set up on the sidewalks became routine. It was a brutal reminder that anyone could be the next victim. Noah had seen these losses with his own eyes. In 2020, his close friend Tamare Timms, just 14 years old, was killed. A year later, 16-year-old Kyrie Simmons fell to a cold bullet. Then Jasier Adams, 18 years old, met the same harsh fate. Each death left a scar in Noah's heart. From shock and grief, he slowly became numb, turning pain into anger, and finally changing the way he saw the world. He realized that no matter how smart he was or how good he was at sports, none of that could protect him from sudden death on the streets. The biggest turning point came in May 2023, when Noah himself was shot. During an attack in the Frankfurt neighborhood, he was hit but luckily survived. From that moment, everything changed completely. His physical wounds could heal, but the psychological damage did not. Noah began living in a constant state of alert, watching every corner as he walked down the street. More importantly, he decided to carry a gun for self-defense, a choice that clearly reflected his loss of faith that a bright future could shield him from a harsh reality. Noah became two different people in one. At school, he was still the model student, still earning top grades, still the hope of his teachers. But once he stepped outside, he turned into someone else, closed off, cold, and ready to act before being attacked. This split identity gradually pushed Noah toward a new persona, Joker OTV. That name was not just a nickname online, but a carefully built image. Inspired by Heath Ledger's Joker in The Dark Knight, Noah put on the iconic mask and crafted a frightening persona in the eyes of others. OTV, short for On the Villain, was like a declaration that he was willing to embody the villain to survive in this violent world. On social media, Noah posted images of himself wearing the mask, holding guns, standing with friends who also covered their faces. Those images spread quickly, drawing attention not only from rivals, but also from the police. At the same time, Noah stepped into the world of drill music, a rap subgenre famous for its coded lyrics, often filled with threats or references to real-life violence. In videos filmed in dark alleys or familiar street corners, Noah, under the name Joker OTV, rapped about danger, revenge, and the things he had witnessed. This boosted his image on social media, but it also meant Noah was putting himself squarely in the crosshairs. Conflicts between youth groups in North Philadelphia only made things worse. On one side were the Pavement Boys, tied to Feltonville and Hunting Park, Noah's home turf. On the other side was Fast Break, a rival group with growing tension. Small disputes escalated into a real war, with shootings for revenge happening one after another. Social media became a new weapon. Public threats, taunting videos, and back-and-forth challenges. To many, Noah was no longer just a student. Street rumors painted him as a hitter, someone ready to pull the trigger for the Pavement Boys. And his raps, though never outright confessions, were filled with hints that convinced people Noah was truly involved in the violence. Tensions reached a peak in the summer of 2023, with the shocking death of YNG Cheese, the son of famous rapper Jilly the Kid. On July 20th, 2023, Cheese was gunned down at a store in Olney, Philadelphia. The incident immediately caused an uproar, not only because of Cheese's reputation in the rap scene, but also because of his connection to his father, a highly influential figure. And then the rumors started. Noah Scurry was one of the prime suspects. Police never officially confirmed it, but Jilly later revealed that he was told Noah was a suspect, a piece of information only shared after Noah himself had died. Whether true or not, Noah's name being tied to the case made his life far more dangerous. From the police, from rivals, and from Cheese's loyal supporters, everyone began to see Noah as a target. Some people said Cheese hadn't even been the intended target, but that did not reduce the pressure. Cheese's death turned Noah into a dangerous figure, not only in music, but also in the underworld. Besides the YNG Cheese case, street rumors made Noah's image even more frightening. Many people believed he was also involved in the death of a rival crew member nicknamed Fat Dame. There was no clear evidence, but in the street world, words and rumors carry as much weight as facts, so those accusations spread quickly. With every rap verse and every video he posted, Noah wasn't just building his name in the drill scene. It was almost as if he was accidentally confessing to the whole community. Some people saw that as a sign of recklessness, others looked at him like a rising star, but everyone agreed he was throwing himself deeper into a dangerous spiral with no way out. Noah's drill tracks, full of references to shootings and nameless enemies, became proof of the two sides of his life. An honor student by day and a notorious Joker OTV by night. Those songs didn't just draw in thousands of plays on social media, they also became evidence that outsiders used to strengthen suspicions about his role in several acts of violence. The more famous he got, the greater the danger grew. Things reached a boiling point in early 2025, when Noah dropped the music video Swing My Door on January 13th. In the video, Noah wore his signature Joker mask, standing in the middle of a group of armed young men, guns raised like a public declaration of war. His lyrics were full of hidden threats, not even trying to disguise the aggression, at once a way to build credibility for himself and a message straight to rival crews. The video exploded online, racking up 2.6 million views in just 2 months. For young viewers, it was an exciting piece of music, but to the police, it was evidence that Noah and his crew were openly showing off their power. And to rivals, it was nothing short of an invitation to war. Only 1 day later, tragedy struck. On the morning of January 14th, 2025, Noah left home with his mother to head to school. It should have been just another ordinary morning, but the alley behind their house on Aurora Street in Feltonville became the place where his life ended. Out of nowhere, a white Jeep Grand Cherokee pulled up. The doors flew open, several shooters jumped out, and nearly 20 shots were fired at Noah. He collapsed under the storm of bullets, gravely wounded, and was rushed to Albert Einstein Medical Center. But he didn't survive. Everything happened fast and with precision, a clear sign that this wasn't some random attack, but a carefully planned assassination. The Jeep was later found abandoned near the scene, with traces linking it to other shootings, reinforcing the belief that this was part of an ongoing gang war. The community's reaction to Noah's death was split. At Samuel Fels High School, teachers and classmates remembered him. As a model student, a basketball star with college dreams now cut short. They couldn't believe that the quiet, respectful kid they knew had fallen victim to a street-style execution. On the other hand, on social media, many people saw Noah's death as the inevitable outcome of the double life he had chosen. The Swing My Door video was brought up again and again as proof that his open challenges led to his death only 24 hours later. The words of Jilly the Kid, father of YNG Cheese, made the debate even sharper. After Noah's death, he publicly stated that police had told him Noah was the prime suspect in his son's killing. For many people, that was enough to believe that the January 14th shooting was an act of revenge. And as is often the case in street wars, the exact truth might not even matter anymore. What matters is the collective perception. And in that perception, Noah had become just another link in an endless chain of retaliation. Noah's death highlighted a bitter contrast. On one side was the image of an honor student, with a glowing academic and athletic record, expected to escape Feltonville and reach a bright future. On the other side was Joker OTV, a dangerous figure, infamous with his Joker mask and threatening raps. This contradiction was the central tragedy of Noah's life. He was both a symbol of hope and a symbol of fear. Community activists and social scholars later pointed out that Noah's story wasn't just about one young man. It was a vivid reflection of the crushing impact of gun violence in Philadelphia, where access to firearms was too easy, and intervention programs for youth were nowhere near enough to stop the cycle of bloodshed. In such conditions, even an outstanding, ambitious student like Noah got pulled in. His academic and athletic talent, which once worked as a shield to keep him away from violence, ultimately wasn't strong enough to protect him from the brutal reality of the streets. That's why Noah's story became a warning. It shows that in an environment ruled by guns and revenge, even the most admirable personal efforts can be drowned. His death didn't just end a young life, it revealed a repeating cycle of violence that swallows promising youth in North Philadelphia. As many people admitted, the rules of the streets don't play favorites with anyone, and Noah Scurry was just one of countless victims. After the death of Noah Scurry, Feltonville and the entire city of Philadelphia were once again pulled into the never-ending debate about gun violence. For many local residents, Noah's death was clear proof of a cycle with no end. From community losses to promising teenagers becoming hardened, then choosing weapons as their protection, and finally ending up as victims themselves. The contrast in Noah's life made his story even more haunting. On one side, he was the young man admired throughout his school with excellent grades and a bright, athletic future. On the other, he was Joker OTV, a gang-style persona, bold and menacing on social media. Teachers at Samuel Fels High School later said they never imagined Noah could be tied to street violence. To them, he was the model student they often pointed to. The example that even in tough circumstances, if you studied and worked hard at sports, you could rise above. That's why the news of his death left so many in shock and disbelief. But in contrast to that grief, the reaction on the streets and online was very different. The name Joker OTV became locked to the image of violence, and many people argued that Noah had chosen the path that led to his tragic end. What's striking is that the way Noah built the Joker OTV image created a legacy full of contradictions. In the drill community, he became a standout figure, known not only for his music, but also for how real his raps felt. Every line sounding like it reflected true events on the street. But in the eyes of police and social activists, that was proof of the danger in drill culture, where music was not just art, but also a tool to maintain grudges and fuel violence. Videos like Swing My Door weren't just music videos. They were seen as public statements where the line between art and reality was erased. The social fallout from Noah's death sparked heavy debate. Some community organizations argued that this event was a loud warning about the urgent need to expand youth support programs, especially in neighborhoods like Feltonville. They said if there were more resources to guide young people into sports, positive arts, or access to mentors and mental health support, tragedies like Noah's could be prevented. But others claimed that the very act of celebrating figures like Noah in the media and on social networks might accidentally reinforce the image of the street hero, pulling more teens onto the same path. In broader discussions, Noah Scurry became the perfect example of the two parallel worlds that many teens in Philadelphia live in. By day, they can be top students, standout athletes, or dutiful kids at home. But when night falls, or when they rejoin their street crews, they become someone else, wary, reckless, and ready to use weapons to defend their honor and their lives. This double life, driven by social conditions, made personal talent powerless. Criminologists stress that living environments in neighborhoods like Feltonville put huge pressure on young people, making it hard even for the most capable to break free. When guns are everywhere, and when violence is seen as the only way to earn respect, Noah's choices, carrying a gun for self-defense, then building the Joker OTV image, were almost understandable. But those understandable choices led straight into a tragedy that could not be undone. Noah's legacy is a mirror full of contradictions. To classmates and teachers, he will always be remembered as a model student, a talented athlete who once had the chance to reach college and a brighter future. But to the drill rap community and the streets, Joker OTV was a notorious figure, someone who spread both fear and admiration. These two images live side by side, reflecting a society where the line between hope and despair is so thin that one sudden event can change an entire life. The lesson from Noah Scurry's life isn't just for young people in Philadelphia. It's a deep reminder of how urgent it is to tackle the root causes, from controlling guns to building safer environments to investing in education and mental health support for youth. Noah had it all: intelligence, talent, discipline, and ambition. But even all of that couldn't withstand the violent world surrounding him. As the name Joker OTV continues to spread on social media, many other young people might see it as an image to imitate. And that makes the danger of glorifying violence even clearer. Noah's story should be told not to celebrate Joker OTV, but to remind us that behind that Joker mask was a boy with an outstanding SAT score, a gifted basketball player, and yet another victim of Philadelphia's cycle of violence. Ending his life before even reaching 20 years old, Noah Scurry left a deep void for his family, his friends, and his whole community. But more than that, his story is a warning. That individual talent, hard work, and ambition, if not protected by a safer and fairer society, can still be crushed by the guns on the street. And until Philadelphia, and many other cities, find a way to stop this cycle, Noah's tragedy will only be one of countless more to come.